Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's the Sprawl. So, where do you meet when you get your group together, Katya? Where's the staging area for your mission?
I think that question goes, where does Relay hang out with Relay's people?
Yes. Let's see the cool cyber
In our
hangout.
disused shipping warehouse and office in an industrial subsection.
That sounds cool.
Which company is disusing it currently?
There's totally some megacorp that was destroyed in the past 10 years. Like it got cannibalized by 3 others.
Well, so yeah, there was a merger between Sinotech and Maersk. We've talked about them before. We saw their logo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So maybe during the Maersk Sinotech like merger, and it was a violent merger. It was not like the gentle marriage of two entities. It was like the crashing together of 2 horrible giant ships. So maybe it's detritus.Maybe they just forgot that they owned. Like it just
there's like
it fell through
this kind of stuff happens where there are these. Like it was owned by it was buried under so many shell companies that eventually the thread kind of got lost, and these things just fall into disuse. And it's just like, and it's not just the building that we have. It's like there's a whole like subsection, like a whole neighborhood or whatever that is like this, where it's just this it's an unowned space.
Yeah.
But it's also then commensurately like unserviced as well. Like there's no electricity, no anything. It's like
I have an idea. So maybe Maersk Sinotech as part of their like big merger, and this is like an event that occurred in the Megaplex, within this lifetime. When it happened, they bribe or blackmail or whatever through manipulation got the municipal government to reroute a waterway, so you live in like former waterfront like shipping territory, but there's no water anywhere within like several miles.
Yeah.
So this is like a big like industrial boathouse, but there's no water anymore.
There's a bunch of basically like dry like shipping docks and stuff that no one uses because they're like, well, the water is all over there now. It's all like 2 miles that way. And so there's this area that has been like a bunch of like squatters, and like it's all kind of just been forgotten about.
Yeah, and maybe this was like an old dry dock and there's still a boat like suspended inside the warehouse.
Yeah.
I'd like to offer I'd like to offer this as well. We met as well. It's unclear how old D-Res is, but probably very, very young, like 11, during what this happened, managed to actually get the rights to all these places, like somehow through hacking it and like spoofing it so that they became the like owner of these couple of warehouses. And I sold them to like your group, or like we came up with a deal or of some kind to get my like first cyber deck.
Nice. Yeah, I like that.
So we've known
and I think it's
quite
like deep in like contested, like there's like other gangs in the area, and it has its own
like
little.
This whole area is a slum.
I imagine it like a bit like the Golden Gate Bridge in the Bridge trilogy, in that it's just like people are like, you don't go there. It's a bad neighborhood right now. And like you said, no electricity, no whatever, but all of that stuff is like spliced in and stolen, right? Like there are hubs nearby where like legitimate data streams and stuff get hacked into this place. But yeah, I like that.
And I think for our particular little nest within it, we are given our like politics, we have a like a wind turbine like set up above on the roof.
Yeah.
And we're getting all this like crazy windstorm all the time and like snow and whatnot. So we have these like ruggedized wind turbines outside.
And the
maybe
reason
of the style, I saw them like this video on Facebook where it's like instead of being a fan or like a propeller, it's just these things that get buffeted around by the wind and that uses oscillation. So it has like all these little fronds on top of the building.
Nice.
They're just like constantly shimmying. They generate power.
Yeah, and the way that corps don't notice this, because I imagine it's like quite obvious if you've got this. It's got one of those. We've put like fiber optics or whatever on the ends of the blades as they're oscillating, So I just like spoof up like fake ads for places over the top, so it looks like it's a billboard the entire time to like some company that doesn't exist, or just like jokes at other companies' expenses and shit like that.
Nice. So you run like programs that keep like you keep the corpse off of your back in this neighborhood. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a big
I'm
part of it.
I'm very like stealth oriented in like the things I've picked and the way my deck is built. So I imagine spoofing stuff like this and making sure we've got a hideout is very important to me.
Nice. I imagine the part of it too is like the legitimate ownership. It's not so much I wouldn't imagine that Drez like actually owned the property, but you became the sort of de facto owner in that you are continually obfuscating who owns it. And there's probably this huge complex like legal situation where they're like, who owns this block of territory? And even the corporations that think they own it keep losing track of it because you keep having to like maintain that program of
It's like this little slippery eel that keeps switching around who it's owned by.
Yeah, and like eventually it'll come to, like nobody will ever find it, but like as it's one of my first hacks, it's like dedicated to my grandpa who taught me how to use a computer or something. So like the owner of this entire block, if it came down to a piece of paper, is like my dead grandpa.
Nice.
Yeah, it's assigned to a deceased party.
Yeah,
I like that.
just
So.
never find it.
And so yeah, we have our little like anarchist squat collective that lives inside of this old like dry dock boathouse thing. And they're like militarized. They are mobile and well armed and are specialists. And they run scavenging and political as their gigs.
Yeah.
So they regularly make outings to like find stuff and bring it back, and we like refurbish electronics and then sell them in the slums. And
I love the idea that we almost have this little like there's this little apocalypse world game happening inside the like larger Sprawl. Yeah.
I mean,
That's what it is.
for many people, the cyberpunk dystopia is a like post-apocalypse, right?
A form of apocalypse, yeah.
A post-nation state is apocalyptic in some ways.
Oh wait, we're apocalyptic now? Hang on. There.
Yeah, now it's real.
All right, so let's zoom
we're
in. Let's zoom in a little closer and see. Describe for me a place right inside, like a domicile or a meeting place where you would be with your.
So I think there's like some people live in the boat that is still like dry docked here, because it has like actual like crew quarters and stuff, and it's like a mid-sized like fishing trawler or something kind of like that. And I think we have like a workshop space in one corner where the scavenge gets like processed and refurbished.
Right.
And that Relay spends a lot of time there, like checking things.
Well, you don't have any particular technical acumen yourself, right?
No, but I think that's where my specialists tag for my crew comes in.
Okay.
They're all like technology specialists.
There's a phrase that gets used in cyberpunk. The street finds a use for things. Yeah. Roll 1d10 and we'll figure out what the current project is. Because I have a table for this shit.
Oh shit, that's cool.
A 10.
Okay, so someone is working on right now. They've got an outmoded clinical CAT scanner that's being jury-rigged into a rudimentary security screen. So they're using it to like scan people for weapons and stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Trying to turn this CAT scanner into a security device.
And
so
like
your
a
team
lot
is
of the
currently
time
working on.
while the crew is working on stuff, Relay spends time like neurally linking with it and like diagnosing it, because I actually have a neural interface, so I'm useful in that sense. I can actually like cybernetically link with stuff, which, you know, the crew overall, like they're all cybered up to some degree or another, but I think I'm the only one who has a neural interface. The others all have like more meat space oriented cyberware.
Right, like cyber limbs and what have you.
Yeah, because they're all emancipated former like indentured cyborgs. So
Yeah. God, I love this shit. I love that we're taking an existing, like, we already have the world and we know a bunch of stuff about it, but because the characters have changed, we're seeing this whole other side of it that we didn't get to look at before. It's a shame. It's a shame that Cathode ended up with the other team and not with this one, because I think she'd fit in better.
Fit in a lot better.
Oh yeah,
I'm thinking of taking a bunch of tech moves and.
Jinx is gonna fit in like a house on fire though.
Well, no, someone has to go get the stuff, and
That's what I'm saying. It's gonna be good. I said house on fire like it was a good thing, and then I realized.
I mean, sometimes it's good when a house is on fire, just not your house.
Just not my
The
house.
house of the oppressor. Like that on fire.
So I think that's where like the crew is congregating right now. Is we're just the gang is just finishing like putting together this CAT scan security scanner thing, and that's where Katya and Drez kind of find Relay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Do you wanna give us a description of Relay, so that we can see what she looks like when you?
Yeah, Relay is
like.
like they're kind of trapped in a child's body. Like their development was stunted when they were like 10 or 11, like at the oldest, and like they were captured long before that, or sold, I should say, to Krug long before that. And so yeah, they have this like massive and very clunky like spine attachment that is their neural interface, and then they have their whole, like all of their limbs are cybernetic replacements, but they're not like fancy ones. They're all like kind of clunky, don't function super well, don't match. So like they have like 6 different skin tones on their body.
Right. Yeah.
They have all these like scavenged cyber limbs that they're using. And one of them is like has no synth skin on it at all and is just like fully robotic. Like they have this completely robotic hand. But none of it performs very well. So they move in this kind of awkward way. And yeah, their head is like totally bald, and kind of has this weird like cherubim. They have this weird like cherubim face. Because they never went through puberty, and their voice is like very like little boy voice.
Cool. Okay.
And yeah, their fashion is like weird mishmash of things, and is more like, it's not like a person wearing clothes or an outfit. It's just like tacking on more stuff in the same way that like none of their limbs match. All their clothing is like just like not like, they'll wear like a skirt as a top, and then like
right.
You know, like everything's used in the wrong way.
Well, yeah, because you grew up with no one dressed you. You grew up with no context.
Like I didn't really have my own body for a long time, so like clothing is it's very abstract to the Relay. And so they do a lot of like weird pairings.
It's totally a thing nobody talks about either. Some people are probably drawn to the fact that you have this really avant-garde like style, and they're like, oh yeah, it's totally like a message, and you're just like, yeah, I don't know, I've never owned like a t-shirt.
Yeah, and so there's also a lot of just like wearing things that are way too big, and like just putting on one shirt as like a whole outfit.
Right.
Yeah. And so they're like sitting cross-legged with like 5 or 6 wires leading out of them and into this CAT scanner, and they're like running it through diagnostics and stuff. Like, so there's this big like scanner bit that's like and then like resetting, and they're like talking to the crew being like, no, it's jammed. Like,
yeah, and I think I kind of walk up at this point, like while you're doing whatever it is that is happening. What are you?
Yeah, Drez, are you there already, or do you show up late? I mean, no one knows where you live, so.
Yeah.
Or are you even there? Are you just like a glitchy like AR hologram for this meeting?
I think for most meetings I do that, but I think since I've known Relay for such a long time, we kind of go back to the founding of this place, and I like technically own it. I've got my own space here, so yeah, I'll turn up. I'll turn up a bit late.
Yeah,
but
so
not in a fashionably late kind of way. Were they always here sort of way, just like
Yeah.
slinking.
Okay. So yeah, I start relaying like the information that I got. Like, I think perhaps I have something interesting that might be up our respective alleys, so to speak. Are you listening? The wires, something.
Yeah, and like Relay like clearly wasn't there. They like
Yeah.
they reach back and just like pull this like set of 4 cables, and there's like that awkward like stretching and snapping as they like decouple, and then the little plates like close over the ports, and they turn up and they're just like, I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Something possibly very interesting. People are going missing on this new Elixir project.
Mm.
Someone has hired us to find them and rescue them from corporate slavery.
Another program. Who hired us?
She didn't tell me, but if I had to guess, someone from that faith institution.
So we're not saving these people, we're just retrieving them from one master to another. Theft of property?
Not really. They arrived from America just recently, so I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
and, like-
I'm not sure exactly what the paperwork looks like, but
And yeah, as they're like standing up and dusting their knees off, and they just say, their rhetoric will be different, but it's the same thing.
So I heard about this as well, and I'm wondering if we can't, make sure that they stay a little bit useful after this. I mean, I have an idea. I mean, if they're already prepped for this initiative, they're supposed to use them while they're like asleep or something along those lines.
as far as I'm aware, it's some kind of financing plan for objects that they want to acquire in service trade for sleep and so forth.
Now, if you want to, you can assess the program or you can research the program.
Well, first off, when we begin a mission,
Yeah, I
that
was gonna say if
clears
we have
my
another
vision.
mission too.
I'm gonna roll edge.
Oh,
Yeah, so I got 3 hold.
Okay.
But pray continue.
Yeah. Drez, do you want to do that?
yes, let's find out how much I actually know about this.
But I really like this idea of Drez and Relay developing a plan where they just are like, oh yeah, we'll save these people and send them back to Faith, but we'll plant some kind of like virus in them so that it then totally fucks up Faith. And that
Oh
these,
yeah, I'm thinking like zombie anarchist sleeper agents that we can activate and like have them destroy the facilities that they're at, just for fun.
I'm fucking
Let's do it.
into it.
So I also
Cool.
have a move for the start of a mission.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
which
We're
is
detectives.
That one. I can ask a question from the research list at any time. 3 times now.
Nice. Oh, that's so good. Cool. And it's just like you're just figuring out clues.
I just figure it out. It all fits together.
I love it. That's a great move. I like that. Okay, so Drez, what are you gonna do? Like I guess we noticed that you're there, and we like pan over to you. I imagine Drez, and I think it's partly because of the art. Can you post that again, Dave? Just like broadcast it to the chat. I want to make sure
That art is so cool.
It's so good.
It is, yeah. Okay, broadcast.
Yes, it's so good. So we see you there, and I imagine Drez. When I think about your character, I think about like everybody else is live action, and he looks like he's a animated like part of a Gorillaz music video, like
Yeah.
like he's got this very kind of like he looks like a kind of a cartoon character, and that
Oh, he
art
took-
goes to
he totally has like fully functioning like cell shading or like outline
AR, yeah.
AR.
So cool. Yeah, a little cyber gnome. I like it. And yeah, I just envision you like crouched in a big pile of tires or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we pan over and we see you because you've spoken, and now we like the camera gets its attention on you. And yeah, what are you gonna do? Are you while you're talking, are you gonna bring up like an overlay, an AR overlay, and like look up this program, or are you what's your plan here?
Yeah. I figure it's going to be research. I want to look at a publicly sort of available amount of information now, just because I don't want to. I mean, I do want to start hacking now, but like I've got to get the go ahead.
Google searching is searching, right? It's still research, the publicly available database, so you can make that move. Research. Yeah. I guess you asked the question first, or you figure out what question you want to ask.
Okay, so my question is going to be. How does the technology behind this financing plan like work, or like just something about the technology behind it, because that's the bit I'm going to be messing with.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so I don't use any of my special stuff because I'm not doing hacking. I'll just do a flat research roll with mine. Yay. What? Uh-oh.
Okay.
Good start.
So, on a miss, I'll answer your question, make a move. So I guess you were, I mean, you asked the question from the list, so how should we interpret that?
I keep forgetting there's a list.
Now,
That's
right,
my mistake. Let me have a look if I can redo that for you. What is the relationship between the Elixir funding model and like
cybernetic
memory
technology
scraping or cybernetic,
yeah.
whatever it is?
Yeah, the technology, sure. That, and that's, I mean, I'm answering this basically the same question you asked before. This is just reusing the list. Okay, so I think, yeah, the program is in beta. You probably have to sign up for like you have to spoof like a fake address, an email address or whatever, to sign up for like access to the website, because it's still kind of all like secret and like, oh, you know about this thing. Well, the world of your dreams awaits. We just need some personal information. So yeah, I think that you start doing some research into that, and the connection between the program and the technology is that it uses similar cutouts to the like scraping tech, and is similarly non-intrusive because they don't want people to be like scared to get cyberware installed. If you already have like a neural interface or whatever, it's just an upgrade. But what it does is it just turns off your brain's ability to record and like process stuff locally. So you activate it when you go to sleep, and when you wake up, you don't remember anything that you did, and your mind just doesn't write those memories to your brain. Yeah. And then it turns off and you get access again. It basically is just a cutoff between your brain working normally and then this other thing that lets them remote control it. It just turns you into a drone temporarily. But it doesn't do so by like doing any other cyber work. You're using your own muscles. It hijacks your nervous system. Like all of that stuff still is happening. You just have no recollection. Yeah. And the language, because you're reading from their official like documentation, and the language is like they use lots of words like proprietary technology, and they try to obfuscate anything that like a serious person asking questions would look for, and they do a lot of reinforcing of like it's like just like falling asleep like you do every night, waking from a dream, like, you know, could you imagine going to work and not having to like worry about it. And it's all very aggressively marketed towards this like just don't think about it. All you have to do is like get this one free. Like you don't get charged for the installation of the thing. They don't charge you for the cyberware. It's like free cyberware, and it does this thing, and it'll allow you to,
yeah, it's like waking up from a dream in a place you've never been, surrounded by people you don't know.
Well, you'll wake up and that is
the wrong clothes.
But that is very much like the promise is like you'll always wake up in your own bed. Like we'll have you home by morning, you know. And there is that same vibe that like you can choose how much you work, and they offer like work packages, right? Of like, you know, they definitely like weight the advertising towards the harder, like the more immersive ends, where it's like, you know, it will work as much as they choose, this sort of omakase approach. But there are like different tiers where you can decide that stuff. So yeah, that's what you learn about that technology.
Yeah, like it's I mean, if these people are going to be stupid enough to make themselves zombies for this corporate whatever bullshit they want, some kind of car, whatever, then yeah, I'm sure we can make themselves useful. We'll make themselves useful. We'll just make some more alterations to the way it works.
Yeah, I
Just
mean that's the other thing, right? Like if you just destroy the project in whatever way you decide to do that, then yes, you would free them. They could then theoretically get the devices removed or whatever, and you're good to go. But also, if you could hijack this thing, woo, you get your own zombies, and you could just turn them off all the time. You could just dump them down deep into the sunken place, and then they're all yours, right?
Yeah, so let's be real. This is Get Out, but just with people in general.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I mean, that's going to be your call, boss. What we do with it. I mean, if we're hired to do one thing, I mean, as a side project, I think this is a little bit more interesting than rotating magnets. And I just like point over at the cat scanner.
Yeah, and there's somebody, you know, like Jonesy over there with like a cyber wrench trying to like get this panel off, and like they look over you like, what? Shut up.
Yeah, fuck you, buddy.
My project is awesome.
I think the important thing to keep in mind as well, if we are talking about potentially hijacking the minds of these people, as you seem to be interested in doing, that they are people and that we would be using them to the same ends as any other person who would be doing that. But we've been hired for a job. Or at least...
Put it up first.
Yes, of course.
Yes, we must do everything we can to ensure that we continue to fund our projects. And they like pointedly look at each of you to like hammer that point home, and then say, however, we must further our agenda in the process. We can't afford to be inefficient with our time. So if we can subvert this project of elixirs, that would be useful. We don't want to kill these people in the process, only empower them to affect change in the world in a way that aligns with their own emancipation. They can work from the inside, but only if it means that they'll be free when they're done. Yes?
Yeah, sure. You can ask them nicely before we turn them into... Yeah, I'm with it. It's a good plan. Personal emancipation. Let them enact their dreams of violence. But actually, maybe after we get paid.
Certainly. And
Great.
our proof can be not just for our client, but for everyone. Everyone can see what has been done to these people.
So your plan is to try and pass off whatever you are going to do with them, to them, whatever, as a result of the Elixir program?
Well, it is. If Elixir wasn't usurping their bodies, then they would not later be empowered to return fire against those companies and
Of
against
course.
this faith collective who takes them in as refugees, but only to indoctrinate them into their own program, which at this point, I find the distinction entirely academic between one neural virus and another, be it that it comes in through words or is forcibly implanted by a chip.
Preach. But it comes out all like roboticized because
Yeah.
I mean I can't do it, but
I'm imagining the screen.
Ironic choice of word, but
yeah.
Certainly a coincidental choice of terminology. But all right, I'm basically behind this. Now that I know your full plan, rather than just we will hijack their brains and use them as zombies, which is sort of unacceptable to me.
No, of course not. And like Relay like reaches out and like takes both your hands in their little like tiny child-sized robotic hands and like looks up at you and just says, I would never do anything to compromise your professional integrity. I know that it's very important to you. And then they like give you a little hug down at like, you know, like waist level. Like
Yeah, there's
cybernetic limb replacements for children would be so creepy because they would be like, they do that thing where they would just put like branding on them. There'd be like Mickey Mouse like on the like grubby plastic like external like
Have you actually seen that this is a thing?
It's like branded diapers, right? Where they're like,
yeah, exactly.
Weird.
This is totally a thing. They've got open source. Oh wait. I think that might actually be confidential information. Never mind. That's like there might be people doing things like that in the world. It's probably a thing that's happening.
Okay, Dave.
Dave is leaking cyber knowledge.
I mean, yeah, like prosthesis is, you know, kids need it too, right? And
well, yeah,
yes,
I've seen lots of articles of like people 3D printing like, you know, limb replacement stuff. I mean like corporate prosthesis for kids.
Exactly. That's where it gets weird.
Yeah.
And obviously all of Relay's stuff is like stripped of any branding or anything like that, which is why I think one of them doesn't have any skin on it.
Like the kind of like whirl patterns of like a belt sander or a disc sander. Like,
polished away. Totally.
But yeah, there's definitely like this moment when you hug Katja that's like yes, of course, my professional you know, like head pat, like, okay, we're good.
Okay, now stop hugging me.
Okay.
Please stop hugging me.
Like I'm a badass former mob associate. Like, please don't hug me. Yeah.
So if you'd prefer to get your hands on something that isn't a small child, I have a task for you. We're probably going to need access to one of these machines that they're plugging into at night. Like the people neural interface, easy. Hack those before. Made people do incredibly dangerous and stupid things. It was hilarious. But this one's going to be specific to Elixir.
So you want me to gain access to an Elixir facility and find out what they are doing exactly?
Well, I don't know at the moment whether they have to go somewhere to sleep at night or if they are.
Oh no, it's
like
all
it says,
it's all just part of the.
No,
it's
I
wireless,
believe it is integrated, so to speak.
Yeah, so like break into somebody's house and see where they sleep. Just don't like sniff the pillows or whatever, or do like whatever. I'm not going to judge you. I don't care.
And
How
then
weird you all are. It's so good.
Relay cuts in with, and of course, the best way to infiltrate this would be to sign up. And they like look at you very earnestly, like,
At me?
yeah. And maybe you think that that's what they mean, but then they're like, so I was going to go become indoctrinated.
I don't really think that's probably the best idea. You're giving Elixir access to your information relay, the information that you have that identifies everyone and everything here. You're giving them remote access. That is a very, very bad plan.
I don't need to go all the way. I can just apply and see what slips out. They might not have very good information discipline.
If you're going to do this, What I ask is, of course, that you don't sign anything.
Yeah.
And I like
Worst
look
case
at my
scenario.
robotic hand, which is like shaky a little bit. And I'm just like, I don't even have a legal name, Katya, and I don't think I can make this right. It'll be okay.
If you think that if you think the distinction between a legal name and illegal anything is going to make a difference with Elixir, they are currently indoctrinating a ship full of refugees from America. That is the whole point of this.
Yeah, like I said, like worst case scenario, we just like create a partition in your brain that actually houses all of your memories, like through the neural network, and I can probably restore those after we're done. If you want an entirely different identity,
I love that Drez is
Like,
the kind of
we'll
person who
probably get it
will
back.
seed a sentence with a probably like that.
I'm sure I'll be all right. And then they just like walk off,
Yeah.
go do this stupid thing they're gonna do.
Very well. I will make my own way then and see what I can find.
Okay. So the team splits, and Drez, you're still there on your like pile of tires.
Yep.
Jonesy looks over you like, "Hey, what's up? Just using my wrench."
It's like you turn it left to tighten.
Lefty loosey.
It's
It's a reverse threaded fastener because it's on a rotating coupling.
So yeah, so where do you go? Where does everybody go when they have their like, I'm gonna go do a thing?
Well, I'm gonna get one of the gang to drive me on their like shitty motorcycle or whatever that they presumably have because they have the mobile tag. So they've all got like vehicles and stuff. Or like a old pickup truck kind of thing because they do scavenging. I'm gonna ride in that to a part of town that has one of these like recruitment offices.
There's actually for this program just the one. You have
Or
to
just the
go
one?
to
Yeah.
there's an elixir. There's an elixir arcology. It's got some kind of like really obnoxious name like Elysian Spire, or like, you know, it's this this huge beautiful glowing building.
And yeah,
that's
it's just
always
this like
perfectly
pure
lit.
white like
Yeah.
spike that comes out of the like larger.
I love Elixir.
I
They're my
know.
favorite.
They're just one big,
Elixir are what high elves would be in the
Yep.
future.
Yeah.
they're a big expensive hand job is what they are. And and so they have their main, they're like HQ, and it's you have to go there to sign up. In part because they want you to walk through the showroom first to be like, welcome to the land of your dreams.
This is the paradise that you
Look
could
at this fucking
live in.
swimming pool you could have. Do you want 12 sex robots? There they are. Go get them. All you have to do.
I come on
Very
overcoms.
expensive hand job.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I come on overcoms. I'm like, tell them you want a gun, and then see if they give it to you, and then shoot them with it.
So you're not. Here's the thing. If everybody's okay, we'll stick with Relay for a moment. So Relay, you on your junk bike in your like, crap place. You drive up to the arcology, and it's huge. It's like a city block, so it has several entrances. But you know from your research from Drez, right, and from the information that your employer gave you, there's you know where it is. So basically, the bottom like 20 floors are like a mall, like a super expensive, like imagine a mall where every store was like one of those like Gucci stores or like a Leica store where like there's like 10 things in it. And you don't actually go there to buy things. You just go there to like look at them. So the first 10 floors are just luxury mall. There's
some weird like montage of Relay moving through it, and Relay is like from the land of broken toys.
Yes.
There's
You
all this-
actually don't get to go in right away.
They don't even let me in.
Yeah. So you come up to the door, and of course they wouldn't have like anything as crass as security guards, but you pass through a fine like almost like a fog barrier or whatever, and it's like faintly scented, but it's full of little like particles that as they cling to you as you walk through, they make it easier for you to track through the mall. So you walk through this little curtain of like scented particles into the perfect gleaming ivory like walkways of the mall, and almost right away an elixir fulfillment specialist approaches you. He's got lots of like high quality, expensive looking cybernetics, and a perfect haircut. And he looks like an employee of the place, but in a way that when you walk in, even the employees are like a posh object. So
Yeah,
he's very,
totally.
very nicely dressed, very desirable. And I think there's this implicit thing about this place that if you're rich enough, you could even own this guy, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly. You
he's-
just be like, I'll take that one.
yeah, exactly.
That's my butler now.
He's part of the products. So you could be like, I'll take that car, those clothes, and this guy who's been helping me. Come with me, honey. So he approaches you. And he's very good at doing the emotional labor of not having to look disgusted at your slimy body and your ugly friend. Who are you with? What's the name of the person that's with you? The person who drove you here. Unless we lost Andrew.
It looks like we did.
Oh yeah, it's very frozen, Andrew.
Frozen by the data fog. All right.
Not the. Oh wait.
Hello?
There we go. Hi, welcome
Hey.
back.
Okay. Yeah,
Hey,
sorry.
Jim.
You're paralyzed by the data fog for a
Resident.
moment there. Okay, so yeah, who's that person that's with you? Unless you're curses. I gotta stop asking that. It's me. I'm freezing things.
Yeah.
All right.
You're doing it.
Well, let's
Take a break?
leave. We'll leave you frozen where you're at. No, we got some time. Let's cut back to you, Hunter.
Oh, okay.
Let's queue up some Bjork and see where you go. So, what do you do? So we split off. We'll get back to
So
Mega
Catch
Mall.
is a little more practical in her searching for knowledge than say like DRES would be in terms of just searching the internet, basically.
Mhm.
I am going to where those immigrants or whatever, the refugees came in, like wherever they came in, boat, whatever, like that dock where I could maybe ask some of the employees there like about their arrival and like who brought them here and like what was the name of the elixir guy who met them, or anything like that. That's the kind of
Okay.
that's the kind of thing that I'm looking to ask.
So you would know the rest of the world, depending on their political agenda and their corporate agenda, is in the midst of a significant debate about what to do with the Americans. With the relatively recent, which is to say like within a generation, collapse of the government of the United States of America, and the swift disintegration of North America into a series of complex either corporate enclaves or like survivalist groups battling over water rights. What is to be done with all the people who are fleeing America has become a big thing in the sort of last generation of global politics, and the megaplex is sort of like, like, sorry, you made your bed of sand and bullets, you can sleep in it. There's no reason to. Krug has just been like, yes, come from America, work on Leviat is good. Like, just come with us. We have jobs for you. Cut off your limbs and replace them with metal ones. It'll be fine. But Faith has been across the board, like universally, geographically, they've been like, everyone deserves salvation. And just because your empire fell doesn't mean that you. I think Faith was based in America.
that makes a lot of sense.
Faith started in America, and so they're like, we respect our roots. The sins of the father are for the son to repair, and we want to help you out. You're sick, you're lonely, you're injured of America. Come wherever you're from. And so they've been exerting a lot of pressure on like municipal organizations, civil companies, simple corporations to be like, come on, like take on these Americans. We can put them to good use. And so, yeah, it's a pretty well-known thing that faith is the reason why all of these sort of displaced Americans have ended up in various other countries with, like, they have programs to like employ them. Yeah, so I guess if you want to, you can, what do you want to do? You want to research by like hitting the street and asking questions and talking to people? You're muted, Elf. I assume
that is
you're
my
muted.
plan. Yes.
All right. So, yeah, cool. You can make the research move if you want to. The database here is just like people, like
Mhm.
you're having conversations, spreading some money around. You could also create a contact, and you can ask them.
So this is a thing I can do. Ear to the
Yes.
ground.
That was
Ear to the ground. You have a knack for
suggestion.
listening in lips and picking up information. When you circulate among a neighborhood, a group of people, you may research to gather information.
There you go. All right.
Yeah. So
Cool.
that is what I am going to do. Mind. I don't learn a
Oh,
lot.
dear. All
Apparently.
right.
Neither of us super researchy today.
Okay. So there's I'm looking up the name of a boat.
Boaty Merc. No.
Let's see. Wow, there are a lot of weirdly named prophets in the Mormon faith. All right, so there's a ship. There's a ship called the USS Sons of Mosiah.
Okay.
And it's a ship owned by Faith.
Of course.
And that's the ship that has been doing for the last, like, I don't know, a couple of years, the last cycle. They've been running refugees from I guess my understanding of American geography is not great. What's like an East Coast, like a Southeast Coast port city? Atlanta? Is Atlanta a port city? Map
I
of
have
America.
absolutely no idea.
I mean, we're the three wrongest people to be asking
Yeah.
about this.
Where's Blue Jay?
I think, where's our token American? Let me take a look at this. I'm looking at maps here. No, it sure fucking isn't. Atlanta's like way in the middle of the country. Good job, Adam.
Miami.
Jacksonville. Yep, Jacksonville could be it. Savannah, Charleston. Yeah, I like that. We can't go too far south or it's like a burning wasteland. Yeah, let's go with Charleston. So it's out of
Charleston, Carolina.
It's out of Charleston. And there's been east-west, yeah, like east-west travel from there, from the megaplex to Charleston, picking up people. And
I'm sorry, Adam, but I have to just put out one thing.
Yeah,
it could be Baltimore.
It could be Baltimore. I'm saving Baltimore.
Okay,
I have.
But let's not use Baltimore.
Oh no, yeah, don't worry. If I need an American city to have a mission in, I'm saving it so it gets main screen.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So it's out of Charleston. And the reason, I think the problem here isn't that you're inept. It's not that you fail. It's just that the people that you would go to see are crew members or peripheral like members of that, of that boat, and the boat is out. It's at sea just now.
Okay, well, I still get to answer a question, and
Yeah, so you're
ask a question.
You're asking like dock workers and that kind of thing, but
Yeah. Hang on. What am I gonna ask though? That's the question. I think the question is who owned or employed the refugees? Like specifically, if anybody knows. I know it's like Faith brought them here, but then they were scooped up by Elixir. So like, does anybody know any details about like the switch over? Like, are they
so they
employed?
weren't. Yeah, it wasn't like
or owned?
No, it wasn't like there was a group of them that just got like given to Elixir. Like these were immigrants who they were trying to naturalize, right? Trying to like incorporate into the megaplex culture, and then they all kind of like individually or in chunks, in family chunks, got interested in this program. They weren't transferred by Faith to Elixir.
Yeah.
They're like, they're people. They're allowed to make their own decisions. And they're like, hey, I want a car. I want a house. Yes, I will do this because my regular job is not paying me very well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm going to use a hold to ask, where would I find most of their current places of residence? Like if they all, like, not centrally, but like,
yeah.
you know, like where do they live?
Yep. So how do you come by that information?
So I imagine there's some kind of like, you know, when you enter a place and you're a refugee, you have like a certain area that is, I don't know, if you're trying to naturalize, usually there's like a holdover area where it's like, we can determine that you are now a citizen of blank, you know, and
Oh, right, like a place where they get to hang out in between being like refugees and
yeah, and that place would know their home addresses because they would have to like report that.
That is the perfect recruiting ground for stuff like this.
Totally. So here's the thing. God, and this feels so like, God, it feels so fucking on the nose.
Right? It's weird.
Right, like it's so on the nose, but I'm gonna roll with it. Yeah, another word for what you're describing is like ghetto. Yes, there is an arcology. It's a downscaled like arcology that Faith bought. The Charitable Acts Department bought it, and they house American refugees there, and they keep them separate from the regular people that live in the megaplex because Americans are known to be violent and dangerous.
They're not sending us their best, Adam.
Right? Like, I'm sure some of them are good people, but
what do I even say to this? Like given the current.
Right. And I didn't even really intend it this way, but I love the idea that we're in this like inverse North American immigrant crisis, like what to do with all these Americans.
And people just point to it. They're just like, hey, do you remember in the past when they were like this? Like, we can't trust them in this
we don't want
country.
racists coming to our country.
Well, and that's the thing is that, yep, it's a real, like, it's a thing that they have caused problems, right? Because they're also hyper entitled and like, yes, they're going through some bad stuff, but they have hundreds of years of corporations telling them like, America is the best, you deserve the best, everything is great. You're perfect and you are kings of the world.
Thus the very easy indoctrination by here's a fancy car, here's a nice house.
So exactly. Faith is trying to hit them with this like, God and country, right? We're Americans too. We come from the same place you do. America is wherever you go. It's in your heart, right next to God, right? So come on, we'll take care of you. But then also Elixir is like, yeah, but don't you want like a solid gold 4x4? Like, wouldn't you also like a TV as big as Mars? Because we can make that happen for you. So yeah, so that's a thing that's happening. So so
like whereabouts are
there's a sanctuary. It's a repurposed like workers block. There was, I think, probably right before the fall of the like Scandinavian alliance of countries, right before we kind of got sick of countries and did away with them. There was this like socialist kind of failed revolution in Scandinavia. And they had all these like worker housing blocks that are now 50, 60 years old. They're the precursors to their corporate arcologies. Faith has bought one of these. They've bought several of them, and they're using them to house refugees. It's a sanctuary of the Charitable Acts Department.
Okay, that makes a hell of a lot of sense. So that would be where I would go to further, do things. So that was my research question. Let me look my up, hold.
Let's get biblical here. Let's look up. Let's see.
Let's get biblical.
Because I want a non-biblical. Something about, I want a name for this like sanctuary building, and I don't want it to be a Bible verse. I want it to be like from the Torah or the Quran or something.
That is up to you. I do not know these things.
It's called Sanctuary something, but I gotta find a good name for
I'm imagining that it has a very like the aesthetic in this building. They've painted over a lot of stuff to give it a similar aesthetic to like the inside of a lot of mosques, where there's imagery of like plants and gardens and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In the architecture.
Oh.
And so they've kind of like rebranded it to have this echo of that. but it's like a shitty corporatized knockoff of it.
Here's a really nice like people of the book name for it, so it doesn't matter if you are Hebrew or Christian or Muslim, whatever old-timey religion you used to belong to. Yeah, it's Sanctuary Abraham. And all are welcome. And so this is a place where they've brought all of these American refugees, and they've put them up in. Yeah.
Are there 7 buildings, each named after one of Abraham's 7 sons?
Yeah, totally. Yep. Yeah. So this is where the vast majority of their current American refugee work is being done.
Cool. Sanctuary Abraham.
Yeah.
Abraham Shuari.
Yep. Cool. All right. So let's get back to Relay real quick. So Relay.
Yes.
I dread to ask the cursed question because you cut out the last time right before I asked. Who are you with when you were approached by this customer service representative? Sleeper. Okay. All right. So Relay is with Sleeper. Give me a visual on Sleeper.
Sleeper is a just to muddy the waters further, they're like a Sikh man. So he's got a big like beard and he wears a turban, but he's like a legit, like culturally, traditionally Sikh person, not this like bullshit corporatized version of it.
Yeah.
But people mistake him for that all the time, and it really grinds him up. He doesn't like it. And he's Sleeper is really big.
It occurs to me both because of what you just mentioned, and also an article about Coachella I read this morning that Faith is basically a cultural appropriation company. Like that's their main jam. Yeah. Like anybody can wear any kind of religious stuff they want and mix and match.
As long as you get the Faith branded shit.
Exactly. Like as long as you look religious, they don't care. So you've got like saffron, like Buddhist monk robes and a turban and
yeah. So
oh my God.
This guy is like actually Sikh. He's like 6'3" and weighs like 280 pounds or something. Like he's just huge guy. And yeah, he's got a nice big healthy beard. And is like he participates in the whole like electronics scavenging operation. And so he has some like techie kind of utility beltish type stuff going on. Like it certainly his clothing is looks very practical, but he's also got the like, you know, the knife on his belt thing. He's got all that going on. He's got like, it's coming correct with all of his Sikh apparel.
Yeah. Okay. Rad. So he's with you. And what is his purpose here? What have you told him? Like his job is just to hang out? Is he bodyguarding? I mean, that's not really their job.
Chaperone, because people assume I'm a kid all the time, and so it helps if I have like an adult that I'm around with.
So the person that comes up doesn't talk to you. He doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Comes up to Sleeper, and you can feel free to like play both yourself and Sleeper in this situation. I don't really care. But yeah, this guy, this perfect person, comes up and he says, "Welcome to the Elysian Spire. How can I help fulfill your dreams today?" And he gives you this like very perfect commercial smile.
And Sleeper's like, "Not my dreams, their dreams," and like indicates me, and I like look up at this perfect man in front of me.
Yeah.
Just, like, give him a smile.
So he gives you this very assessing look. And it's not just to figure out like what's your deal, but it's to be like, how can I best not offend you, right? In a way, the customer service representatives of Elixir are the best at being like really good about respecting people's identities and stuff, because if they offend you, you won't buy anything.
Yeah, so, they want to market to you in the most targeted way possible.
And so we can see, you know, one of his like cyber eyes, like getting a closer up picture of you, reading all of the kinds of things that like would trigger. Yeah, they have a skill. He has a skill slot like chip for marketing to people, and that's running very quickly. It happens. Yeah. And so he's trying to figure out, are you like actually a child? So should he like kneel down and pitch up his voice a little bit and like treat you like a kid, like an entitled kid who happens to like looking grubby? Or are you like a really eccentric adult in like a cyber body? Like, what is your deal? How easy do you make it to assess? And I guess what do you want? Well, I guess how do you try to present yourself to the
Yeah, this is
marketing
the
software?
thing is I'm just gonna play the shit out of him because he's a little robot. He doesn't even have his own agency. He's just running this like protocol, and so Relay is really in tune with that. And so I'm just gonna play into it super hard so that the path of least resistance right kicks in, where it's just like, oh yeah, of course it's this, it's this.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'll just say like, we have been saving up for a very long time in order to give me the upgraded full body replacement that I require. And I was hoping that today would finally be the day that I could start using the special financing plan that we heard about.
All right, let's see if you can get past the bullshit detector. Why don't you
fast talk a motherfucker?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, why don't you fast talk that guy?
And you know what? I don't want to chance it, so I'm going to spend one of my hold from Driven.
Okay.
To give myself +1 to the roll. So, fucking aces.
Nice.
I get a 12.
So this would be like, you know, in Terminator, where it's like the like red vision, it's like target, whatever, innocent.
But he's got like marketing vision.
Yeah. So he immediately picks up on like he's got your like some kind of like emotional analysis where based on the inflection of your voice and your body temperature and like a bunch of other shit, it's like running through different programs to run. And yeah. And what's the appropriate approach that he would take to best hook the persona you are putting forwd?
I'm doing the like wounded animal thing where like, oh, I'm sick, I need to be fixed.
Okay.
Like, take care of me.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
So he crouches down, and he has a bunch of internal like stuff that like you can, it's not physically like he's not in control of it, but like his posture changes, like his shoulder blades like bend in slightly, and like, you know, he makes himself less threatening and more approachable. His cheekbones probably shift under his skin to make him like look
his face
more
becomes
cherubic.
a little bit rounder.
Yeah.
More, like, maternal almost, or parental. Yeah.
So gross and weird and creepy.
This is like primo elixir shit.
Yeah, I know, right? Like he becomes non-threatening.
The most curated retail experience.
Yeah, he suddenly like smells different. Like there's a scent of like, you know, baked goods in the air that wasn't there before. He had this kind of slick, like generic elixir smell before, but now it's like he's being retuned.
That's definitely a branded smell.
Oh yeah,
it's like so definitely like this
Comfort
thing that is only elixir.
Yeah,
exactly.
And he kneels down and he says to you, he's like, "Oh, you poor thing," and he like looks up just with the right amount of like attention diverted away from you to acknowledge your guardian, and then back to you, and he says, well, you've taken the most important step, and that's the first one. And he turns.
Oh my God, kill me now.
Yeah, he turns and he gestures with his like, you know, perfect arm towards a hall. You know, you're out in this big open area, and I think we can see the tiles like light gently as a kind of running lights that he's activated subconsciously. And he says, I know exactly how I can help. Come with me. And he stands up, and he's like shorter than he was before, so that his hand, when he puts it down,
it's like at the perfect spot,
perfect height for you to hold. Yeah. Yeah, like so, his spinal column while he was talking to you has like restructured and like tightened.
One thing though, like since I've come in this building, by the way, my SimSense recording equipment is on, and my encrypted comms relay is live streaming this whole experience.
Right. Which is a perfect cut back to Drez.
Drez gets a feed of this.
Yeah. So let's grab a break here, and Drez, when we come back, you can tell me what your like architect's chamber looks like. You can show me where you are.
Yes, I want to know what Drez's hangout is.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine it's not a physical place, but you can describe your little matrix room. Nice. Cool. Okay. Great. Stick around. More barfing forth cybernetica when we get back.